What's happening, guys? Welcome to Jesster Radio. Got a special guest in the house today. A beautiful lady. Lady that makes other people beautiful. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi Jesse, my name is Heleen, Marx. I'm one of the directors at Aesthetic Lab in Hazelwood. We do aesthetic treatments. Dr. Chris, who's my business partner there, does the non-surgical treatments, which is obviously more invasive. And we make people look as good and as beautiful they can today.
Okay, and obviously in South Africa, I think maybe overseas it started out, maybe like let's say America, Hollywood, it started out bigger than obviously what it started out here. But have you seen obviously a massive growth over the years as people, as social media grows, people see what the celebrities may look like, they might see what other people look like more, so it might encourage them to maybe try make changes in what they don't like about themselves.
Definitely. We've seen an increase of about 60% in the last 3 years.
Sure.
We on average see about 25% new clients every month. Just coming for consultations, wanting to see what is possible, what can be done without physically going for surgery. The trend has pretty much shifted from a few years ago where it's much more natural today. Years ago they wanted the dance floor look, smooth forehead, no lines whatsoever, whereas today the focus is more on beauty and your friends should wonder, did she have something done? Was it just a good night's rest? Not necessarily because of whatever she's had done.
Yeah, I think that's also a big thing is you see sometimes some of these girls that take it too far. Maybe sometimes, obviously because there's also, you never know how some people's body might respond slightly differently. And that's obviously why you do need to know as much as you guys have through studying, through all the research, through everything. You need to know how people's body is going to respond. Because obviously there is a lot of danger to it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have gone to treatments that have had, something terribly done to them because someone either wasn't, didn't have enough knowledge on the topic, what they were doing, all the treatment, or maybe they just, maybe they just did it quickly because they just wanted to rush and get more clients. I'm sure you've had to maybe sort out a few mistakes that other people have made, or you've had to maybe fix, issues that people have come to you with because of maybe a previous doctor or someone, a beautician that has done something bad.
We see quite a lot of procedures gone wrong. It's not always to lack of knowledge. I think it's also got to do with your vision and where you would like to take that person to. So we prefer, walking the way with them and literally taking small steps, doing something every month or every second or third month. Rather than just doing one big makeover and then someone walks in looking one way and then step out looking like someone completely different. So doing too much in one treatment definitely gets you into trouble.
And that also I think is the safer way and the healthier way is to do it slowly and gradually. And also they as a client might not see as much, like if it's one session where you do something drastic, they might see the difference, but if you do it slowly but surely, they might not see the difference. But then when you show them the before and after, where they've had maybe 6 treatments compared to like 1, then you say, okay, this is actually what we've done. Then they actually see, wow, this is actually far more healthier the way they've done it. And it's also, I think it's also good because it shows that you're not just there to take their money and let them go, because you actually care about the process and you actually care about them, which is good, and obviously people want that. So what do you offer, what do you do at your practice?
Okay, so we do Botox, dermal or Botox is a toxin. We also do Dysport, which is just another type of neuromodulator, which basically takes away your ability to frown.
Okay.
And then we do dermal fillers, which adds volume to the face. We can do beautiful angular jaws and straight lines and features for men, which looks stunning. You can literally build your jaw like Johnny Bravo.
Okay, yeah.
If that's your thing.
Yeah.
So more muscular, angular looking. Obviously in women we want to achieve the softer look. Pretty much replacing what's been lost either through aging. Weight loss also plays a big role. Sport, if you practice quite a lot, if you go to gym every day, obviously burns fat and all of that. So just to make you look beautiful.
Okay.
So and beauty is not the absence of lines.
Yes.
It's shadows and light reflection more than anything else. And then we also do threads, which is, in a nutshell, it's basically like a stitch that dissolves. So that gives you nice angular looks as well, firms and tightens the skin. Then in the clinic we also do treatments such as microneedling, chemical peels, we do body sculpting, skin boosters, we do PRP, which is when we draw your blood. We spin it off in a centrifuge and then re-inject the plasma to give you a radiant, glowing, youthful looking skin.
Okay.
And then also hair restoration, which is quite big at the moment, especially under our male clients. Lots of men suffer from hair loss. It's partly due to lifestyle, all the hormones that we ingest through food, water. So that's quite a big one for us as well. So we do carboxytherapy for that, which is basically CO2 gas that we inject under the scalp to stimulate new formation of blood vessels. And then if you've got more blood in that region, there's more oxygen, obviously, as well, and then more nutrients to feed the hair.
For something like that, how often would you have to go in for treatments? Is it a once-off thing and then your hair just starts being produced again, or?
Well, look, as long as the follicles have not been dead or inactive for longer than 3 years, we get really, really good results. I would say about 70 to 80% improvements in hair growth. But then you come for weekly treatments, and then there's home care. So there's a specific shampoo that you wash with, and then there's also a serum that you apply daily.
Okay. Sure, that's crazy. And obviously you said there's so many treatments that you do offer for males. I'm sure you obviously, what do you think your percentage is between male and female clients coming in?
It's still probably about 90% female, 10% men. We do find, however, that once a male client has sort of, enjoyed coming to us and enjoyed the improvement, it's much more of a trust issue, I think, for me. Because it's quite daunting, I think, walking into a practice and there's lots of women standing around. Luckily, Dr. Chris is male as well. Yes. He makes them feel at ease. Okay. So we find definitely that men, they don't shop around. So if they feel at ease, then that's some of your best clients.
Okay, and I'm sure it's scary for a guy because it might be embarrassing. His friends might think he's being silly as things. Friends might be like, "Oh, you're just being soft," like you don't need to go to do certain things, or just shave your hair. Come on, be a man. But I mean, obviously, everyone wants to look their best and everyone wants to feel their best. And I think it's also great that you do offer to men and that you're trying to encourage more men to come. And when they do come, you make them feel comfortable. So that's great. And so before this, we're actually chatting about something new that you're going to start offering, and I think there would be something interesting to talk about. So what is that?
We just recently started doing penile enlargement using dermal filler. It gets injected under the skin, 10 milliliters at a time. If you're not happy with the result, then more can be added, up to 40 milliliters. It's something that's literally just sort of grown over the last few months. So it's a niche treatment. There aren't many practices offering it. Okay. Not much can go wrong if you know the anatomy, obviously, and it's done by a medical doctor. But our patients who's had it done are extremely happy with the results.
And is it painful?
I think if you have it done without a pain block,
yes,
it would be quite painful, but there is a pain block being done before the procedure. Okay,
and then is there a recovery time or?
There aren't much of a recovery time afterwards. For about a week, you can take antibiotics because obviously that's in a region that has quite a lot of bacteria. So we need to make sure that the area stays sterile for a while. So no sexual intercourse afterwards for a week, and that's basically that.
And how long now have you been offering that? When did you start?
It's brand new for us.
Okay.
So the last month.
Okay, wow. And I'm sure there's obviously a lot of restraints, but like as you say, with talking about it and posting about it, and I mean you can't exactly go and put a photo of before and after images on social media. So how would you, obviously maybe just word of mouth, or like even could you do pamphlets, or how would you even go about advertising this type of thing?
That would be something that I think men would talk about, to each other, either at gym or if they've had something done and they enjoy it. It is quite a tricky question because obviously social media is a no-no.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the type of thing that you want to advertise on the street corner either.
Yeah.
It's a niche treatment. The price is also obviously reflects that.
Yeah.
So at this stage, more word of mouth.
Okay.
And it's on our website as well.
And then obviously maybe also guys, the problem is they might be a little bit embarrassed about it. They're not going to talk to their friends about it. So I feel like the results will speak for themselves in terms of if someone is very happy about it, then they'll talk about it, or somebody's spouse or something might tell someone else about it. So I think it's very difficult to advertise that type of thing. It's very difficult to talk about it. And obviously being men, the way men are wired, they're very proud. And I feel like they might be hesitant to do it. So I think if maybe anyone listening here wants some enlargement, so you know where to go now. But I feel like it's just something that it's unfortunate that it can't be shared out there as much as it could. But I mean, obviously, maybe you can put it on your website, because obviously then there's just text and explaining and details. So that'll help. And I just want to segue now into another question with how we're talking about social media. How do you find, obviously celebrities on social media, do they paint a picture that could be maybe negative for your clients coming in for the type of treatments that or the type of results that they can expect? Is it sometimes maybe too much, because obviously they don't know how much these celebrities have had done to them, and then they come in here and be like, yo, her nose looks so amazing now, do something similar for me. And then you're like, well, you actually had like 20 different treatments. Like, do you see that people coming in and they have very unrealistic pictures of what they want done?
They do. They sometimes walk in with photos from the matric farewell, or when they turn 21 and she's now 65, not looking the same at all anymore. Obviously, there are limits to what can be done. I think the main thing there is that there's always two people analysing a patient or a client. So it'll be the doctor and then one of the therapists. We also have a diagnostic device, which is a 3D camera. We try and take before and after pictures as much as we can. We also, sort of document the process and take after pictures after 6 months to show them, this is where we started, this is where we are now. It's important to have that person or that element sort of just holding, not everyone, but sort of just holding someone back sometimes, because, if it's limitless or if the funds are limitless, then obviously they'll do whatever they can to look as young as possible. Yeah. But it is important to, always think about what's going to look socially acceptable and what is beauty, like you said before. So, answering your question about celebrities, definitely they come in with pictures of noses, and then their nose can never in a million years look like that. Yeah. So obviously we try and make them aesthetically pleasing, looking as much as possible. But then lips, we don't do the very, very big lips. It's not fashionable at the moment. What is quite fashionable is, it's called the Meghan, after Meghan Markle. Okay. Which it's more symmetrical lips, so literally the top lip and the bottom lip exactly the same size. So the ratio is then 1:1.
And what is it previously? Like, let's say someone else. What is the ratio normally?
1 to 1.86 or 1 to 1 or 1 to 2.
Okay, so it's almost double, yeah. So
yes, and it depends on your facial shape and proportions as well.
Okay.
The width of your cheeks, how angular your chin is, and the distance between the nose and the chin, the nose and the middle of the lips as well.
Oh wow! So I'm sure. What's the most thing that while you answer this question, that camera just switched off. So while you're talking to everyone and explaining this answer, I'm just gonna quickly go fix that. So what's the number one treatment that people come in for? Like, what's the number one thing that you could see now, obviously being in the industry, what's the number one thing that, maybe the top 2-ish things that people come in for, and the biggest things, let's say in 2017 up until 2019, that people aren't happy with in their bodies? Because obviously everyone follows trends and everyone's like, that girl's, doing her lips, I want to do my lips, that girl's nose, jaw, whatever. So you can just explain, what do you think lately have you seen the trend going towards, and what has it been?
Okay. At the moment, the number one treatment still, for the past 10 years, is definitely neuromodulators such as Botox and Dysport. Thereafter, it's dermal fillers. The last 2 years, we've seen a huge increase in fillers done in the chin as well as the jawline. It's definitely something that more women are wanting to perfect, to have that straight jawline and a nice angular jaw. Lips not so much. It is making a bit of a comeback though. If we look at lines around the mouth, treating that. So what is quite a big treatment at the moment as well is we call it the white lip. So it's literally the area around the pink lip or the red lip where you would put your lipstick on. Men don't come for lip fillers as much. I suppose it's not surprising. They do come more for also the chin and the jawline. Some volume loss when it occurs in the cheeks. We feel that also. Botox always makes you look fresh when you wake up in the morning, or neuromodulator. So there's nothing worse waking up in the morning with a creased forehead, I suppose. So it also, we found that the grey power is not so active anymore. So it's not so much the older men who carry the most weight. It's also about the way that you look. If you're a CEO and you early 40s, definitely your presence carries a lot more weight if you're also looking after yourself and you're looking good. There's also been a big shift towards body aesthetics. So lately there's quite a few threads that was developed that you can do to do a bum lift.
Okay.
Knee lifts are quite popular amongst the ladies. We can do threads on the stomach.
What is a knee lift? What would you do?
A knee lift is when you get the creases above your knee, when the skin starts sagging a little bit. Usually you can train as much as you want and you won't be able to improve that much. So we firm and tight, we can do firming and tightening treatments.
We use like collagen
radio
treatments.
Frequency.
Okay.
Treatments in the clinic.
Yeah.
Also obviously if it's a fat pocket that can be reduced. And then thereafter, if you're still left with sagging skin, then threads are then placed. And that's literally in a grid. And that stimulates collagen production and elastin as well.
Wow, so I'm sure people do, obviously, because everyone tries to diet and then everyone tries to do certain things. But I think with age, no matter how much your body does stop producing the collagen. It does, it decreases in the amount of, your hormones, or like they change so much the older you get. And it also just, no matter male or female, you just, either your estrogen increases and your fat, you just produce more fat, your testosterone drops and your hormones just, they're imbalanced when you get older. And it's unfortunate. And that's also what's so nice about, modern medicine, almost modern aesthetical medicine, where you're able to make yourself look younger and feel younger, and you can change certain things where previously you weren't able to. And that is amazing, and it is obviously, but it has the downside as well, where people, like I've seen people who maybe everyone, it's difficult to build muscle for some people, but everyone can actually, it depends how much, but you can to an extent build muscle. And I've seen people who've had like calf implants because they've struggled so much to build calves. And I just think, boobs are different. Like getting a boob job is different to getting a calf implant. Whereas like if you're a female who doesn't have bigger boobs, you're not gonna ever get bigger boobs without exactly. But whereas if you train, you can grow muscle. So you say you do like bum, what is it?
You can do a bum lift.
Okay, what is that now? Is that the tightening of the skin, or?
That's firming and tightening of the skin, and then also some people can do squats.
Yes.
Forever, and that just the gluteus muscle just never ever grows enough.
Yes. And also especially for older people, maybe they've had children, then that's especially difficult for older ladies who've had kids for that muscle to grow, and the skin also, because of obviously maybe pregnancy, age, the skin does sag, and those type of treatments do help. And especially I've seen it a lot where women, they used to maybe compete, they used to have these amazing glutes, and then they have children, and then no matter how hard they train, they just somehow cannot build that muscle again.
Get it back. So doing a bum lift, you can also do with threads. There are different types on the market, obviously depending on how much lifting you would like to achieve. And also gets placed in a grid. above the glute and below. So the one will support and the other one will lift. Obviously, it is size dependent. It also depends on how much you do train. It does work better if there's less fat involved, and the skin quality must be good. So if the skin quality is not good enough, then you're also not going to get the result that you were looking for.
Yeah.
So it must be healthy skin, enough collagen, can't be too thin, because then you literally see the threads underneath the skin.
Okay.
There's also another treatment. It was also launched about 2 months ago. Plastic surgeons have been doing it for a while, where they extract fat, say fat pockets, and then also spin it off in a centrifuge, similar to when we do the blood, or PRP. You would then just use fat, spin that off, and then it separates into 4 layers, so it gives you oil, fat, blood, and stem cells. If you then mix the stem cells with fat, you can also inject that to create more volume.
Okay.
It's also then longer lasting, because if you're only going to do fat grafting without the stem cells, then your body just absorbs it, because your body's got memory. It knows that it's not supposed to be there. Stem cells just gives it a longer lasting result. So you can inject that in the face, in the body. We can do it breasts as well, especially after breastfeeding. We won't be able to give you 2 cup sizes more than you've had, but literally just to adjust some volume. And that you can do for calves as well.
Okay. And anyone listening, let's say the male or female. Okay, let's just start with female, because I'm pretty sure mainly the males that come into your place, I'm sure they're slightly older. Is it the older males, or what is the age? You have to have a male that would come in.
I would say mid to late 30s.
Okay,
40s.
yeah. So you never really get like a 20-year-old kid,
No.
or maybe anyone under 25. You won't get them.
They come for when they grind excessively. To then you can inject Botox or Dysport in the face. We call it masseter muscles.
Okay.
To then stop that action of grinding. In men, it's not as bad. Obviously, if it starts affecting your teeth, then